Well, I've been around the block a bit. I'm 80 years old, but I've still got 10, 15 years more of doing this. And I've been here in Washington for almost 50 years now, and really helping people learn about the government. I came out of the Navy of Vietnam. I didn't want to be drafted and have to sleep in the jungle. So I joined the Navy for 3 years, too much 9 days, and watched the war. Then I graduated. We got out of there and I got a GI Bill to get an MBA, and I got an MBA in computers, started a software company, one failed. I was a computer science professor at a college here, and I was starting businesses, and they were failing. And I finally got a business that really helped Fortune 500 companies get information about their competitors and the markets and everything going on outside of the business. This was back in the early 70s. So that was, I studied management information systems, and that's what I thought businesses needed. And I would charge thousands of dollars to get the information from Washington. But then I didn't know anything about these programs, and they made me smart. I said, boy, I'd get this information for free and sell it for thousands of dollars to these Fortune 500 companies. And I grew up in a little town called Wilkesboro, Pennsylvania. I said, why doesn't everybody do this? So now what excited me more was not helping rich people, but helping the average people. Sort of like the people I grew up with in Wilkesboro. We didn't know about this. The government to me was the IRS and the post office. That's all I knew about. I had no idea about the money for everything. Uh, and the rich people know, and they'll spend thousands because people with millions can become billionaires because of government programs. So my mission after about 4 or 5 years of doing that was really just to help people, the average person on the street, learn about these programs. And yeah, I didn't have any money or whatever, and to sell books this way, that's why people, they bought books at the time. The way to get sell books was to be a professional guest, and I love performing, and I'm a ham and stuff like that. And I found realize that the TV and stuff like that, to be a guest, they didn't care what you said. It was how you said it. It was all entertainment. They didn't care about content, anything. So I was a regular guest on Oprah, Larry King, Letterman, and everything. They'd call me when somebody canceled because I'd get on a plane right away. You give me 10 minutes of national time that would cost me $50,000 because I act like an idiot. They'll give it to me for free. Sounds good to me. Well, then I started. Books didn't work anymore. Nobody bought books, particularly reference books. Now I've been learning how to get this information to the average person without books because they won't read a book. And now online with our community, it's working better than I ever thought. I mean, I sold millions and millions of books, and I've never had the response that I have like now. Now, so if you want to know about me, there was an article I just did in the Northern Virginia magazine, and they took a picture when I was in the White House. My son used to work in the White House, so when they leave, you get a handshake with the president. He saw me coming into in the Oval Office and looked at me and said, "Best suit ever in the White House." But also, if you want to know more about me, I'll put this link in the description to just see that interview. But more about it, if you want to know about me, just go to chat.openai.com. Now, some of the stuff there isn't right, but most of it's right. And it shows you about why people think I'm an idiot, and that's fine, and why people think I'm a scam. Because, and you'll read that in there, the people that say I'm a scam or something like that is because I lie. And that's because they didn't get, they bought a book and didn't get the money. I don't know what they did. And that's why, when they bought a book, they think the money would jump out of them. It doesn't. And it takes some work. And that's why now on Lesko Help, we could help you one-on-one to do that process that it requires at times. Sure, sometimes you get lucky, but sometimes you don't. But if you go to that chat GPT, say, who is Matthew Lesko? And you see about all the books I've written. I've had 2 New York Times bestsellers. I've been on most TV shows that you could imagine, the Tonight Show, Today Show, a whole bunch of times. Letterman, I did a half a dozen times. Oprah, I think about 3 times. Stuff like that. It shows my education background. I got an MBA at Marquette University. Barely got through Marquette, tell you the truth. I was on and off from probation. I hated school. Character, Lesko's outlandish question mark suits and quirky demeanor were purposely branding decisions. No, they were me having fun. It wasn't any marketing branding. They made him stand out. Were certainly memorable. His energetic delivery and persona made his infomercials distinct in many others. Yeah, I think my infomercials were rated like the top 5 ever or something like that. I don't know. Not that doesn't mean much. As mentioned, there has been controversy surrounding Lesko's products. Critics contend that while the government does indeed have grants, loans, and other financial assistance, much of the information in Lesko's books can be found for free through the government websites and libraries. Some even have pointed out that many of the grants he mentions aren't easily accessible as his advertising might suggest. That's true. I hyperbole. I'm not going to, if I'm doing a commercial for 1 minute, I'm not going to say, yeah, you may get the money, you may not, It's like people sell diet books. They don't say, well, yeah, you may lose weight, you may not. It's going to take a lot of effort. No, they sell it like thinner thighs in 30 days, and that's marketing. That's what it is. And my conscience always feels okay to say that because I'll give anybody a refund no matter what the hell they say. If they don't like it, they feel ripped off or something, you could always get. And that's why you could say anything on TV as long as you give people the money back. And that's what we always do. I'll always give you money back if you think I overpromised or whatever. It talks about my online presence, the current endeavors. And then see, when you go there, then after you read what they say, then you can put more about his work. Okay. So then it tells you about my books. I had 2 New York Times bestsellers. I had a syndicated column for the New York Times. I was a New York Times syndicated columnist. And a Good Housekeeping and Chicago Tribune. And I flunked English in college. Actually, my first New York Times bestseller book was a book I copied from the government printing office. It was called Getting Yours. The government called it the Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance. I literally took that, cut and pasted it, sent it to New York, publisher, went out and acted like a crazy man on TV, and it became a New York Times bestseller. Didn't write a lick. I wrote headlines. That was it. Seminars, speaking, stuff like that, crowdfunding stuff I do. So you want to know more about, just keep putting more information. But a lot of people hate me too because I sound like I'm pro-government. I'm not pro or against government. Government's bad, government's good, like us. I'm bad sometimes, I'm good sometimes. I'm just showing you reality. And every rich person in this country uses this. Now, whether you want to use it or not, it's up to you. It doesn't matter to me, but you don't know about it. And it really, now with so many people hurting, there are programs that really can help. And I'm really stretching more than ever before to try to educate and teach people how to use this, because it's Google is a trap. You go into Google and you're just going to spend money. Google is a place if you want to solve your problems with money. People who need money to live on and solve problems don't have that money. So that's why you have to stay away from Google. You go to openai.com and put in grants for business, grants for living expenses. That will tell you where the real grants are, not Google. Google will tell you who will take your money to help you get grants. Like me, I charge $20. But if you want to know where they are, go to ChatTV and not Google. And sure, there's a lot of bad things in America, but there are a lot of good things. And we spend an average of like $22,000 every year in grants for the average American family living here. 22,000 in grants. Wow. Are you getting that much? Probably not, because the government doesn't advertise. It's a little complicated, and that's what we try to do. But we have a community where people help each other doing it. Not only me and our researchers or whatever that find all these programs, but then to help you through the stuff. And you ask a question, we'll show you how to get free money and help to do anything. And we give out our own grants. Man, I am so proud of this more than anything else. I'm more proud of this, our grants we give out, than me being the New York Times bestseller or having a couple of very successful businesses. I just think for able as a small business person to give $70,000 a month to our members in cash grants to do whatever the hell they want. And that's what we do. And that's where the profit goes back to members. They need the money more than we're going to pay ourselves first, because we want to keep doing this work. And then after that, the profit goes. I mean, at $20, I thought we'd never make a profit. I just want to stay in business to keep educating people while I'm still here. But now it's profitable. So you get the money.